All right, it is 95 days to the 2023 general election and still counting. And the Independent National Electoral Commission says it is preparing both human and material resources needed for the successful conduct of the polls. As Nigerians pitch their tents with the presidential candidates of their choice, some political analysts say that next year's presidential election will be a tough contest. INEC's National Commissioner for Voter Education, Festus Okoye, said that the commission is already preparing for a runoff exercise. The commission says it does this for every poll in case none of the candidates polls the required number of votes to be declared winner. For Nigerians, they are demanding that the electoral umpire conducts free, fair, and credible elections that will produce leaders the people truly want. So joining us in the studios to make sense of all of this is a lawyer and public affairs analyst, Omoruyi Edoigiawerie. It's nice to have you join us in the studio.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I was enjoying the pronunciation of your Benin name, Edo name,
yes.
And so
yes.
I hope I got it very well.
Oh, you did. You did.
That's good.
You did.
Benin is home to all of us. So.
Oh, yes.
Well, let's kick this. When people talk about free, fair, and credible election, what really constitutes a credible election? Let's start from there. So we'll begin to see what these dimensions might be. What really constitutes a credible election?
So I always advise literal interpretation of phrases or words. What does credible mean? Something that is without undue influence and that reflects in the context of election, reflects the will of the participants. So a free, fair, and credible election is an election where the outcome is a reflection of the product, a reflection of the votes, that the people who voted, their votes have counted, that the process leading up to the elections have been clear, free of fraud, influence, disenfranchisement, where everyone who is qualified to vote and has made active efforts to get registered is not disenfranchised, is able to go to his polling unit and vote without any intimidation, and the logistic bottlenecks do not also shut them out. And then at the end of the day, when the votes are counted, it reflects the general will of all those who have participated. So I think really that's when you say free, fair, and credible, that is the literal definition of a free, fair, and credible election, where also the umpire is allowed to be independent in every sense of the word, in the planning, in the execution, and even in the post-mortem. Everything that is done in a way that does not have interference. And interference really is not just from governments per se, but also from even the people. You know, we're in an era of a lot of social media, a lot of everyone is a public affairs analyst. Anyone with a phone and internet can, ramp up an agenda. But when you stay focused and on course without allowing, those bickering and words affect what your ultimate objective is, which is to deliver an election that is without, undue influence, and that reflects the will of the people.
Are we sure that we won't have a credible register to start with? Now that before we go anywhere, they've removed some names and about 2 million. Have been said, "Oh, you thought you got us, we got you too." How are we sure that the vacuum is really getting into the shady corners of the registration process? That we don't have a lot more army that are not supposed to vote that day. Are we sure?
You see, when people criticize government or criticize leadership, I always say to them in a funny way that everyone is Nigerian. Before you become a president or a leader, you are Nigerian. And so you are also talking about the Nigerian. The process leading to the registration, yes, it's chaperoned by INEC, but INEC is utilizing Nigerians. The registration officers in all the local governments, in the wards, in the registration units are Nigerians, like you and I. Some of them are even ad hoc. And what that says is that we need to start passing the buck to around us, to ask ourselves, who, I saw the report, where you had underage voters, and all that. Who oversaw that? Really, so when we push, when we try to push things, around, it's important that we look at the issues, and INEC, in my opinion, and I say my opinion, has done a decent job making the process transparent. Case in point, I was registered in another unit long ago, right? And so when all the noise about re-registration and all that started, I wasn't really ready to get up and go somewhere, with all the queues, time limits and all that. And then I realized that you could go on your mobile phone and do your registration, upload your pictures, so long as you have gotten a voter's card. And I did that. I did that with some level of doubt. But here, I tracked the process. My card had been moved, and it was ready. And I saw, my polling unit had changed to the house down the road from my house. It was a transparent process. And I believe that there are many millions of Nigerians like me who would have taken the same step that I have taken.
Yeah.
So while you have flawed systems, and it's everywhere, you must also give credit to the fact that for the first time, it appears a bit more transparent in the voter registration process. But does it mean that there are no fraudulent activity
crannies,
or discrepancies here and there? Yes, but those discrepancies, like I said, are they being done by INEC, or are they being done by Nigerians who are INEC officials or ad hoc staff or whatever the case may be? These are the issues we must begin to look at. I always say to them, look, really, let's be honest. The person who's going to take that ballot box and run away is a Nigerian.
Well,
probably not.
Nobody can run with ballot boxes again.
It's probably not a government.
We've passed that era. Exactly.
We want to carry ballot box and say, okay, when they want to start the election, say, okay, we are going to give you 2 million. You're going to organize the people in your area. In that area, you are going to collect ballot boxes. This is how you are going to go. You're going to take to this guy. Well, these are the guns that you hold, so that nobody will.
Exactly.
So all those things have been cancelled by technology. But
yes.
But are we exaggerating even the power of technology in determining this election?
No, you cannot exaggerate the power of technology. I'll tell you why. I'm a startup attorney, right? And the bulk of the work we do are with startups. And I always say, everywhere I speak, technology has come to take over. And technology is a trade. It's not going to leave you behind if you don't get into it. It's going to crush you. If you had an iPhone 1, can you still use it today, no matter how new it is? So that's the way technology is going to come to disrupt. And even in the electioneering process, you will find that it will continue to improve the system. It will continue to simplify. It will continue to fast track a lot of the things that we've done manually and change.
What are the stories we're hearing about Osun now?
Well, if you
about discrepancies about.
If you also look at the flip side of it, a lot of the things that tilted to the benefit of the successful candidate, we're also leveraging on technology. I saw a story. Well, the media can confirm where the officials said, they had internet issues, and the boys around said, no, hold on, we'll give you hotspots. We'll connect to our hotspots, upload it right here. You're not living here until you upload it. And I hear it happened in other, in a couple of areas.
Some
Yeah,
asked
talking
you-
about technology.
Yeah, exactly.
The inconsistencies we are seeing already in reporting from the tribunals and so on, the courts on Oshun, each is saying that, well, in quite a number of places, there are inconsistencies between the voter or the number of people who voted and the number of people registered. And they were saying that there were some problems even with technology. That's what we're saying. Is technology enough? Are we turning technology into something else? Can there be a deus ex machina in this case?
Technology is a necessary evil. Like I said, it's a train. You either get in or it crushes you. But one of the ways you try to also check technology is also to have a paper trail in pari passu with whatever is happening. So you have a manual register where you can cross-check some of these things, at least for now, while we continue to fine-tune the process. So INEC has to balance it, right? So when the computer shuts down, you open the manual file to be sure that what you're seeing is correlating. After all, the voting process remains manual. We are not voting technologically. So what the technology is to verify the voters, right? You are still going to thumbprint on a piece of paper.
Yeah, exactly.
You are still going to put it in. You know, so these are all the issues that INEC has to look at to try to create a balance between leveraging heavily on technology to verify voters, but also having a decent paper trail that will help, checkmate, technological fraud.
Now let's talk about the issue of underage voting, which has become a topic in recent times. Of course, INEC has come out to say that they are going to any of their staff or member who is culpable in ensuring that underage people vote is going to be subjected to the rule of the law. However, from your perspective, of course, when a child who is supposed to be in school has the PVC, in the eyes of the law, is supposed to be an offense because you should be 18 years of age first. What do you think is really going on in that regard? Because INEC said
especially when you don't have the person's the birth certificate. You can't say, okay, because I'm looking at you, you look small, therefore you are underage. And then the person goes to vote.
It becomes a little controversial.
Yes.
As to how do you determine exactly?
Can
How
you do that for, if there are a million people, how far can you go?
So the thing that the issue is, to a very large extent, voter registration must be something that comes from a place of conscientized behavior, especially on the part of the voter. INEC is relying on the information you are giving it, that you're saying the truth. They have ways of verifying the facts, but at the end of the day, they rely to a large extent on the information you're supplying. And I do not know, at least before I walked in here, I do not think that INEC has any mechanism in place to determine the age. But there are certain things that let's leave legalese and let's look at it. If you see a child that is not 18, you will know.
It's not
right?
always you know.
Well, to a very large extent.
But then that is a problem. That is a problem of credibility.
Yes.
The point is, if I see a child that is underage, I will say, okay, this guy is underage, but he has PVC. What am I going to do about it? Because you still have to go through the law.
So in those specialized
to invalidate,
so you don't
disenfranchise.
yes, you have to go through the law. How do you get from point A to point B in proving that this person is underage and in making sure that the person is not, I won't use the word disenfranchised, I will say the person is delegitimized. How?
So in law, you have what you call void and voidable. What is void is deemed not to have even existed in the first place. So if an underage child gets a PVC. It's void ab initio.
How do you get from child? No, before you get to void, you have to go from child from knowledge to void.
Yes.
How do you move from knowledge to void?
So that's the point. INEC needs to come up with a mechanism in place to verify age. I'm sure medical science.
They don't have it now.
So well, they have to.
So we are late.
Bro, I'm sure medical science has a machine or has a way you could verify that a person is the age they claim to.
You are going to send them to the 774 local governments in the country.
Well,
when do you procure that? Where is the budget?
Well, if you look at it, if you look at the issues of underage voting, you will find that they are more concentrated in particular areas.
Even there are so many local governments.
And so I always believe in doing something when a problem continues to manifest itself. And this is not the first time. I think since 1999, right, since I became politically aware, for you, I'm sure it will be a lot longer. Underage voting has always been an issue, especially within this particular, space.
Yes.
And so I'm surprised that they have not found means of nipping it in the bud. But you see, there are cultural sensibilities, there are also cultural realities that have also hampered some of these issues. But it's just creating a balance, right? The ones that are very glaring, clearly glaring, you would know, like I said, you would know a child that is not a teen.
Knowledge is one thing. Activating action is another
if I
thing.
see a 10-year-old, if I see a 10-year-old with a PVC, I won't let him vote.
Okay.
And the truth is,
what if the guy? Oh, let's look at a scenario. I'm 10 years old. I am there. I've been told by those people who gave me, organized my PVC, tell them you look young, but you are 18. And I go to the voting booth, and they say, no, I can't allow you vote because you are underage. And I say I'm 18. And then the next person behind me, says the same thing. The next person behind me says the same thing and say, I must vote. How do you at that moment say that those people should not vote when they have the PVC? Because in the first place, the condition, according to INEC, for you to vote that day is for you to have the PVC. Will you stop the person from voting and be sure that you have not violated the law and the rights of the person at that moment?
The law also empowers INEC to address decisively irregularities during voting. The law also gives INEC the power of reasonable suspicion. Gives the officials that where you have reasonable grounds to believe that a person is not up to voting age, you are within your rights to stop that person from voting. Right? So let's look at it from this perspective.
Yes.
Let's create a balance between allowing an underaged person to vote and stopping a person who is suspected to be underage from voting. Where is the greater evil?
No, the question is how do you differentiate what you say somebody who is underage and somebody you suspected to be underage? How do you make the distinction? That is where
the only way you can define that is medicine. Medical science.
Do you have it? Do we have it?
But in the absence of that, the Act already gives you some leeway. Where you reasonably believe that a person is underage, then you're within your rights to stop the person from voting.
But that itself can lead to litigations.
Yeah. Well,
lots of litigations.
Well, the Act already gives you that legal defense.
Yeah, but you have to be right, and then it can come out and affect the outcome of the election. And people will say, "Oh, you disallow so many of our people from voting."
It can even be abused.
It can be abused.
It can even be abused. So the point there is that if it is not an issue of fact that science has documented, where there is an evidence to it, then it becomes a controversial issue. Because if you leave this to the discretion of somebody who, okay, I think from my observation, I feel this person is underage. This boy should be 10 years or something.
The moment you do that, we are covering the facts. Uncle Sam.
There's another part to it, which is even more deadly. All the people at the officials have been told, you better let these people vote who are coming because they have PVCs. Or you won't get home tonight. You won't leave this town.
But you see, those are the issues.
That's what we're talking about.
You have
fair election. Those are some of the issues
we have the police, we have the armed forces, and in an election period, they are constitutionally obligated to provide the fullest extent of protection. Because let me tell you the truth, without security, even in an urban area like Lagos, you can say to the electoral officers, if you don't let us have our way, we'll kill all of you. So it is security that gives the level of confidence that the electoral officials need, especially in this climate.
The question is who secures? What is the end game of the man of security? You yourself started this discussion.
If we go that far,
everybody who does it is a Nigerian.
If we go that far, no, Uncle Sam, if we go that far, we begin to now question the constitutional obligations of our police and our armed forces.
It's not the constitutional obligation.
If we look,
the constitutional obligation we are questioning is their loyalty.
Well,
are you loyal to the Constitution? It's not whether you're obliged to the Constitution, but are you loyal to the Constitution?
Well, we have to, for the sake of our sanity.
Or you're loyal to who you love.
For the sake of our sanity, we have to believe that their loyalty to the Constitution must play out in ensuring that the right thing is done.
We need to believe that for our own good.
Oh, okay, let's move past this underage thing. So we might come back to it if we have the time. But let's move to other areas I'd like us to touch. Now, if you go on social media, for instance, and you read or watch videos or you see people's opinion from candidates to political party to regions, and all of that. Sometimes the atmosphere is charged up with rhetorics and all of that. But let's come back home to the realities, to the substance, to the tangibles. What do you think is going to impact the pattern of people's voting? Oh, this is my candidate or party, I will vote for this person. This is my candidate and party, I'll vote for this one. What are the issues that you think are going to influence the way people are going to vote?
So, this question is a hydra-headed monster. And I'll tell you why. It has so many fangs and, you really can't contain it. Nigeria has been greatly stifled by three things: tribal affiliation, religion, and power. Power to the extent that
hunger.
Incumbent. No. Let's put hunger. Let's put hunger. That is in a world of its own. But see, these three things have continued to define the swings. Today you hear state governors stand and boldly say, "You cannot win in my state." And I always ask myself, does that mean that the voters in that state are dummies that will go along the lines of one man's dictates? You have people say, "I will deliver 5 million votes." And then you wonder, "I will deliver this vote, I will deliver that vote." So what we have come to see for quite a while is that herd mentality, where people see votes as...
It's not restricted to Nigeria. It's even in the Western world.
Well, but you see, here, it's a lot, it's worse. But even beyond
It's not.
Even beyond that, Uncle Sam, the biggest problem we have today in terms of voting is the weaponization of poverty.
Yes, what you were trying to say is that they weaponize poverty and take it to the stream of faith and tribe.
No,
So if you are poor, you are poor. If you follow man of your tribe, it will give you riches. If you are poor, if you follow the man of your faith, it will make you well. In other words, your poverty is like a amoeba. It's going to be shaped by tribe and faith. So what we are saying is essentially is that the election is rigged by the manipulation of those points. Just like Rousseau said, he said, man was born free, but everywhere he finds himself in chains.
Yes.
That is it.
But you see, let's look at the facts. This election, I don't see issues. And it's a problem for me. Because we are where we are today because a large chunk of the decisions that were made in 2015 and even 2019 were made based on emotional rabble-rousing.
The human being, according to the writer, the writer of the novel, the portrait of Dorian Gray, the pictures of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde, he said, man is not a reasoning creature, but man is a sentimental creature. That we sentiments to us are more important than reason. And that is how man has been from the beginning of time.
You see, when you drive an issue-based campaign,
we have never had issue-based campaign.
We have to have it now. We have to have it now because the truth is, if we do not begin to look at the issues,
the issue
we
is
will
tribe.
end up. We will
the
end.
issue is
So,
faith.
but those are the issues that have kept us where we are.
Exactly.
Those are the issues that kept us where we are. So you want to run for president? You tell me, oh, your economic agenda is ABC. I need you to break it. Give me the how. We have heard so much of I will without the how.
We have had so many people.
All right.
You come with highfalutin agendas, beautiful ideas,
But
with no plan to implement.
For instance, there's a candidate who doesn't even have a manifesto.
All right. Gentlemen, we have to leave it here now. Omoruyi, we will have to find time because there are so many issues when it comes to how the next election is going to be. There's so many aspects to it that we need to look at. But we have to leave it here now. Thank you very much, Omoruyi Edoigiawerie, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
I think I will have to name what I have to name the son that I don't have yet. I have to name him that name so that I can pronounce
it. That would be lovely.
Edoigiawerie. Yeah, I like it. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
It was my pleasure.
Right.